Hey guys, it's Holly. So today we'll be having a look at the brand new Lego Eternals little $35 set, which is the Deviant Ambush. And this is set 76154 and has 3 minifigures. And unfortunately, only one of those figures is exclusive to this set. Now, these new Eternals sets were released on October 1st, and all of them were sent to me from Lego through LAN. So thank you very much to them. So let's go have a look at it. Here's the set all built up, and surprisingly, I actually enjoy this model sort of design a tiny bit better than I thought I would. I still think it's got quite a few issues, but I think it's a lot more impressive than I initially thought. But before we have a look at the model itself, let's have a look at the figures close up. First up, we have Thena. Now, she is also in the largest set of this wave, which is the Rise of the Domo. However, this is a much more cheaper way to get her, and this time she actually comes sort of holding that pearlescent orangey stuff, which I really like the look of. However, also in that set, it is included. It just doesn't count as an accessory. Taking that off though, we can have a much better look at her, and firstly, I really like the reuse of the Mantis face print for her. I think it works so well and represents Angelina Jolie perfectly. This is one reuse that I cannot fault. I think it just matches incredibly well, and even just down to the facial expressions. The outfit as well, I really like the printing, but I wish she had a proper skirt and a different hairpiece, honestly. I feel like the hair is a bit too short, not to mention the color being just bright yellow. I would have loved a recolor, but I get it. I feel like it would have matched perfectly with the outfit and just looked a bit weird, but I would have loved to seen a much longer hairpiece on this figure. Though for what we got, I really like the printing, and like I said, I just think this face print matches perfectly. I just feel like they could have done a lot better since the hair's not accurate and the printing and all that. She should have just had a skirt. Next up, we have Makari or Macari, I'm not entirely sure. And just like Thena, she's also in the Rise of the Domo set, but this is a much cheaper way to get her. And overall, I really like this figure's design. I absolutely love the hairpiece being all braided. I think it looks fantastic. And even just down to the color scheme of this character's outfit, I think it works really well in Lego form. And I really love the details, including that sort of metallic gold on there. And then she reuses the Mary Jane face exclusive to sort of superheroes, which again, it hasn't been reused too many times, and I really like it. I overall just really like this figure. I don't know if I'm going to care for the character, but at least the minifigure's good. And lastly, we have Gilgamesh, who is the exclusive figure of this set, and I, again, really like him. He comes with these flaming fist pieces to represent his powers, which look absolutely incredible. They are both the exact same for either hand, and there is one of these that appears in the Rise of the Domo set. However, you sort of need a full set for him to really complete it, which at least you get in this one. His outfit as well looks really good. I love how there's sort of that pearlescent gold that can shine in some areas of the figure on top of just the regular pearl gold. I think that looks really good. The green arms as well complement him really nicely. I think the printing's pretty good. It's not one of my favorites just out of the Eternals outfits in general, but works really well, and I love that little bit of extra detailing on the front and back. He also, unlike I feel like a lot of the Marvel characters recently, has an angry alternate face, which I absolutely love to see. Unlike I feel a lot of Lego sets these days, this set doesn't actually have any side builds. Everything is what you get with this character, which personally I really enjoy, and I think in some areas it's really paid off. I really overall love the front half right here of this build. I think this looks fantastic. It's only when you sort of turn it sideways and look at the back half of this build where it really sort of starts to disappoint me. This just feels incredibly flimsy and small and weak. I just look at how wide these legs are, including these little feet here, which are just on these little hinge pieces with the cheese slope at the top, and it looks really funky to me. And the fact that there's sort of 4 of those legs, and it doesn't work very nicely, especially next to these giant arms at the front of the Deviant. However, the leg designs themselves work pretty well. They are all rotatable using these ball and joint pieces. They've also each got a stickered sloped tile to sort of decorate the arms, which is pretty good. And on the back, you've sort of got one of those sort of like fur rock pieces to represent a tail, as well as another stickered slope piece to sort of give him some more back detailing. And even though the legs are quite skinny, it does hold up the Deviant really well. It's not sort of going to appear like it's falling. You can also make him look like it's running using the back legs, considering the entire thing will just hold itself up on its front arms. Which, speaking of the front arms, I really like the design for this. They are incredibly bulky and use quite a lot of different sort of sloped pieces. You've even got some of those like car hood pieces in teal, which I think looks really good. I really like the stickered printing as well on the Nexonite shield and this slope piece. You've also got some of those pearlescent sort of like animal bows, plant pieces, which again look really nice, and they are all attached on sort of just a Technic pin. So they can spin around quite easily, which is a bit of a pain because sometimes they won't be heading in the same direction. But personally, I prefer the build technique here than just sort of clipping it on. Now these arms as well are connected by a ball joint, so they can be moved. However, because this entire build is built up on top of those arms, you really can't move them all too much without the build sort of falling over or just being too sort of lopsided in terms of weight distribution. You've really got to put both of them sort of down in front at all times. Now sort of the shoulder region of this Deviant as well is really well done, using a bunch of dark tan and some more of those blue slopes, as well as the teal. It's pretty well done. However, it doesn't transition clearly into that super skinny part of the backside, which again is sort of where I have the most issue with this. However, I feel like you can't actually notice it a lot of the time because of how bulky this front section is. At the top as well, you have some more of those pearlescent pieces, which are all attached using a golden clip piece, and they can sort of be adjusted and create this sort of like really nice firm mane to the back of the Deviant. And then lastly, you have his head, which is all attached on a ball joint, which I quite like because it gives you, again, a bit more mobility, which considering you sort of need the front pieces in the front at the entire time, it's nice to have the head move around, and honestly opens up a lot of playability for kids. You have these sort of antler things, which are all on a hinge, which personally I sort of leave them up like this. I feel like that sort of looks best. However, you can make him look a tiny bit sad if you wanted to, or super excited by sort of having them up here, and just sort of change the entire character, I guess, which I think is really cool. There's some more stickers on the front here, including this really tiny one on this piece, which was quite fiddly to get on, but not impossible. And then you've got those typical sort of Deviant printed eyeballs on either side again, as well as this hinging sort of mouthpiece, which I love the fact that that's all done in dark red to sort of give it a bit of a tongue, which I thought was a really nice Easter egg here. But that's about it for the Deviant. There's honestly not too much for him. I love how much mobility there is. I think it makes it really good for play, but I feel like he's nothing overall that's too special. So that is the entire set, and I feel like for a good sort of small $20 set, this is really solid. Admittedly, the sort of tail end of the Deviant itself is a bit too skinny. I feel like it's almost comedic when you look at the sort of size of his sort of front arms and front legs, but overall I really like the figure selection. Admittedly, only one of them is exclusive, which is a shame, but even then the characters that you get, I really like their outfits. It's just Thena. I feel like she's so underdone for what she could be that it is a tiny bit disappointing, but Gilgamesh I really like. However, I feel like this set isn't necessary. I personally would probably go for the larger two and then just buy Gilgamesh separately. I think you're much better off doing that. As cool as this sort of build is, I think those two sets are a lot better, and especially since they do have Deviant builds of their own, you don't necessarily need this one. But let me know what you guys think about this set in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.